when I was young, for the audience, my dad didn't allow us to have phones. I got my first phone when I was done with high school. So I was 17 going into 18, right? And I was so mad about it for the longest time. But you said that and I've realized my dad worked in a tech company. He worked for a company called Dimension Data. And it's a tech company, cybersecurity, all those things. And for the longest, I was like, my friends have phones. I need a phone. And when I was insistent on it, even after, because he did a lot of, I guess, kind of like research on it, but also because he works with engineers and people in cybersecurity, he knew or understood the risk. It's just that I was very adamant on, I need it and I need it now. And I would look for all the excuses because my dad, you need to give him the why. Mm-hmm. And so if it doesn't make sense, he's like, okay, you go sit and think about it, So you come up with all kinds of excuses. And when I was like, finally, the most excuse that made sense is so that I can talk to my friends. My friends have phones. And unfortunately, he went and bought me a telephone, like an actual... And I was so mad.
I hope you kept it, though. I hope you have it.
It's actually on top of my...
rotary phone.
Right? Yeah, you should actually keep it. You will win a conversation one day.
That's true.
With that.
Will I?
Yes.
I still hold some feelings around it.
No, you will win a conversation with that one day. Believe me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Someone won't believe.
Yeah. And my friends are like, oh, so why don't you text? You always call in. I'm like, but I don't want to tell my friends. I don't have a phone. Yeah. I just have a, telephone. And I remember one time we were going up country and I'm like, I can't lose touch with my friends. So just to prove a point, you guys haven't bought me a smartphone. I carried the entire thing. All the way.
The long cord that went with us.
I will prove a point, right?
At some point during your child's life, they will engage in pornographic content. They will. It's not a matter of when. It's not a matter of if.
Yeah,
it's a matter of
when.
It
doesn't depend on you saying,
exactly.
You're not going to, because
they will. So if you have that in mind, then you need to be able not to get shocked when you find them.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and I say this with love, that some children actually engage in it when they are really young, so they don't know how to comprehend it. And you trying to help them understand, okay, what you're watching is really not right. It's a difficult conversation to have, but all parents have to have it anyway.
About 15 years ago, Microsoft did a study when social media started to become something. Right now it's prevalent, but when it first started, it was causing panic because it reduced the attention span of humans who were interacting with it. And they did it so much. In this Microsoft study, they measured a human on social media against a goldfish.
Wow.
Humans were shorter by 2 seconds.
To a goldfish?
Yeah, to a goldfish. 7 seconds was a human attention span on social media.
Hi everyone, Lorraine Zugula is my name, head of people and culture at Akili TV, Akili Network, and welcome back.
My name is Jesse Soleil. I'm the president and co-founder of Akili Network and Akili TV, and we're super happy to welcome one of our longtime friends to the conversation. And today we're going to be talking about, how old is too young? Talking about social media, talking about devices, talking about apps, and talking about how you manage and control as a parent or what you don't. And I'll turn it over to our esteemed guest.
Thank you. My name is Eveline Kasina, and I'm a trust and safety expert. I specialize in child online safety and creating digital well-being for young people and teenagers. Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Great. We're happy to have you. How did you get into that space, actually?
It was a very interesting conversation. So I used to work for government.
Okay.
Once upon a time when I was 19.
Okay.
I quickly got bored. And then in that space, I was doing computer science in school. And it was interesting how I would get these small side jobs to just put firewalls in people's offices. But the computer science space was really male-dominated. So I wouldn't get corporate jobs, really. But my male counterparts would get corporate jobs and subcontract them to me to do.
Yeah.
Then also that was very frustrating. But when I became a mother and I would give my son my iPad, he would keep clicking on those pop-ups. And for me, I was like, okay, I know how to protect him from this. And then slowly I started just having conversations with my friends. And then without really struggling, I found myself now creating same firewalls I would do in corporate in people's homes. So I would create that and then just make the home environment safe. And again, my family is like the patient zero. So as my son was graduating to go to school, I realized, oops, then now he's in another environment. I really don't have control, but I think I can speak to the school. How do we ensure when they're having gadgets and they're interacting with technology, they are safe? Like what safeguards have you put? And then I would find myself now having conversations that are not really linear. They're just all over the place. And then when I felt it was time for me to quit work, which was really pushed to quit work, I opened a business in my house and I started just having conversations with parents. So it would be the small chamas, the schools would call me. And then I realized, okay, if I have to earn money so that government doesn't now start following me, I have to like solidify and create a company. So I did that. And towards COVID, towards 2017, 2018, I was vetted by Meta. So I became a Meta safety partner in Sub-Saharan Africa. That was such a huge thing. I didn't really know how to go about it, but I did it anyway. So when COVID happened, I would find myself talking to government. So Communications Authority of Kenya, we partnered with them. And then Kenya Films Classification Board. They would really do a lot of webinars during COVID that would just keep parents abreast on what is happening, what to do. So you can imagine when COVID happened, we are all shut down and parents are just handing their children phones because first they need to be in school. But after school, what do?
Yeah.
So my business blew up during that time because they used to hold a lot of seminars. So churches would call, parent meetings. And that's how all this happened. And also during COVID, I had to go back to school. I did a second degree in education. Then I punished myself with a master's now. Like, this never ends, right? This never ends.
really
But it's been a
These
fun space.
Yeah.
Because during that space, I got to work with Google. So I'm also Google's safety partner in Africa, in Sub-Saharan Africa, Meta and TikTok. Like right now, I'm running a campaign called Safer Together for TikTok, where we are already in 34 counties in Kenya. Yeah. Just training on safety. Yeah.
She's busy.
She's busy.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
were
for
talking about that
your
before the
time.
discussion. She's very busy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So immediately just jumping into it is, so Google, Meta, TikTok, all these things. As an adult, do you feel like yourself, you understand it? And if yes, no, then now from a mother perspective, is what does it immediately do, especially because you're not an expert? What does it immediately do for you when you're raising your kids?
I had it before AI came and just blasted our worlds. I knew I had a grip.
Yeah.
Then when AI came, we all got so excited, which was a good excitement for a very short time. Then now we started having a lot of AI-related threats towards children. Then I realized, oops, we don't have it.
Yeah.
So as a practitioner, I feel that is a space that as it's emerging, it has a lot of emerging threats.
Yeah.
And I really don't think we are handling it the way it should be handled fast enough, because technology is very agile. So we need to also be agile.
Yeah.
But I feel like our children are way ahead of us. So we are playing catch up fast.
Yeah.
We have so many things we have to do. And then the regulation around that space is also very, so
Loose.
Kind of non-existent.
Yeah. So I feel like we had it at some point, then something new has come up. And I feel as a practitioner, that is something I'm worried about. As a parent, because I started doing safety with my kids from when they were a little younger, as they grow up, I feel like they are self-regulating. They have self-regulation. And I'm privileged enough to say, like, when my kids really have curiosity, they come to us as parents. They will be like, oh, this happened. I said this. Instead of them going fast and doing it, and then when they bump into a bump on the road, they come back. So they actually come and, have conversations with us. What do we think about certain things? And then, yes, if we don't know, we don't know. So we figure it out together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best place to be. And I feel like even in school, they're championing, self-regulation within their peers. Yeah. So I feel like as a parent, I feel I'm not doing a very bad job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a feeling that we could end up having a continuous conversation about this for probably a week.
Absolutely.
But where we were starting before the camera started rolling was devices.
Yep.
So we're starting with devices. We're going to also talk about, yes, things like Google and search and access to the internet. Let's talk about social media. Let's touch on privacy, and let's definitely not lose AI. And that'll easily fill an hour, I think.
Yes.
If not a week.
If not a week.
If not a week,
Not a
yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, just piggybacking off what you said is, then if we start with devices, is there an ideal age or an appropriate age that you get to give your kid a device? Like, okay, 13, 16, 18.
You're going to tell us your story in a minute. Right?
I'll think about it. Yeah.
You know, I think there is what is ideal and what is practiced. And those are two totally different conversations.
Okay.
Giving a child a device could be that device belongs to them, right? Them having access to different devices, I think as early as they're born. Because if you look at the trends, as early as when a mother is breastfeeding, there's a device here. She's breastfeeding and there's this already blue light communicating with the child. As they start being weaned off the breast and they're eating food, if they're not watching TV, they don't associate this as a feeding time. So you have to put something to distract them to eat. And that has become almost cultural in very many spaces that I've seen. And then obviously there's that screen. Then if a child, for instance, has siblings who now have access to their own independent gadgets, that is a shared space, right? Think about family holidays. Like now we are going into a big holiday, Christmas, and people are having family gatherings. When people need children to behave, what are they told?
Yeah.
Here,
Take
the phone.
this.
Yeah. So that adults can have their space. And actually the biggest mistake is that we give them our phones, which are logged into social media for over 18. So we are exposing them to adult content or actually age inappropriate content for them, not knowing because we've given them phones that are logged into adult accounts, right?
Because the algorithms are adult algorithms.
Exactly. So in essence, there is the issue of when is the right age to give a child a phone, but when are they exposed to phones and gadgets anyway? It is as early as they're born, right?
I've actually never thought about it.
Yeah, it's as early as they're born. But realistically, I always ask parents, when you're handing this gadget to your child, are they able to follow rules? Because that should be one of the parameters. Because I'm giving you something that you should be responsible for, whether I'm here or not. And I expect you to follow certain criteria, certain rules based on our family values, based on also the rules that we have set, the rules of the platform that they're using. So if your child is not ready to follow rules, then they're not ready to have a gadget. Right.
I think one of our earlier conversations with another guest, we talked about the age limits set by TikTok, by Facebook, by all of these platforms.
Yeah.
And that they're disregarded by children.
Yeah.
And they lie
Yeah, they lie.
intentionally to get in.
Yes, absolutely. They actually escalate their ages. You'll find somebody just put their parents' age
Yeah.
so that they can have access. And you know, I feel like children, because they've already accessed our phones, so they know that the FYP for our phones is different than theirs. When you give them their accounts and you put the right age, first, they don't have live, like especially on TikTok, they don't have live if they're under 16. They can't DM their friends and they're not discoverable. So they can't build a following, right? So when they feel like these are the restrictions, like this account has just been dumbed down, man.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm 12. I should have followers. I'm cool.
yeah,
And so they lie.
exactly. So they don't want that. So they lie about their ages until something does happen. And then when there is an investigation being done, you realize, oops, this is a child, but their account is not a child-related account. So it becomes a serious issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really don't like their own dumbed down accounts.
Yeah.
But platforms are trying to do like verification.
Yeah.
I also don't think it's really
you
working, because
can't do
sometimes
it.
children put faces of, like when that point of facial recognition, they put a face of an adult, or they generate an adult face through AI.
Yeah.
So they're trying as much as possible to bypass.
And they know how to do that. And this is the thing that, you know, oftentimes what I've seen is when you give a child a device, the parent brags, "Oh, my child is a digital native. They're good with this. They're better than I am." But they're children, and just because a device was designed to be easy enough to use, that a child could use it, doesn't mean all the stuff that you have access to is appropriate for them.
Yeah. And just to add, even when you ask what is the right age, also you need to ask yourself, like, is my child able to understand privacy?
Yeah.
Because again, without them thinking too hard, because again, kids you don't expect them to think like adults, right?
Yeah.
And it will be just simple things like they'll go live, they're at a mall somewhere, they go live, or they take photos, we are here, and then somebody sees they don't have adult supervision. That becomes a physical security issue.
Yeah.
Right? And what were they posting for their friends to see? Like if somebody was not given permission to come with us to Sarit, all we want is for them to feel FOMO, right?
Yeah.
That's the intention. It just reaches there. But then somebody else with bad intentions will see that these children actually are not supervised by an adult. Then that becomes a privacy issue.
Yeah.
And we have evidence to back it up, because you can imagine during COVID when Pop Smoke was doing his tour, when just the lifts were being done, and he did an Instagram live, I believe, and it showed where he was. Gangsters came, they wanted to steal, but one thing led to another. There was death, right? It was just that one thing that when you're doing your lives, something that you're not supposed to be showing online, it's captured.
Yeah.
And sometimes we would even tell them, like, it's okay for you to take photos when you have uniform on, but when you're putting it online, put an emoji on your logo,
the logo,
right?
Yeah.
And privacy, like, by the way, Jesse, we were taking these photos, you're on the frame. Can I post?
Yeah.
If he says no, I can put an emoji on his face because he doesn't want to be on the frame.
Yeah.
And then I post it. So if your child is not really able to understand some of those things, you need first to help them get there before you hand them devices that will now mess their digital footprint.
Yeah.
Because again, like if you look at what the US Embassy did this year in May, I believe, they halted the student visa process so that they can expand their social media search. What does that really mean? Like we really want to expand our due diligence more for the students who want to go and study in the US on their social media platforms. So when you don't really pay attention to some of these small flags, then your child is out there doing all manner of things. They would want to go and study. They would want to go and visit a relative abroad, and just that process, somebody will deny them a visa because your footprint is already damaged.
Yeah.
So it's also not just the giving them the phone, it's helping them understand this is a huge responsibility.
Well, and to your point, do parents understand that it's a huge responsibility? Because everything you're saying right now absolutely makes sense. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
It is.
And to be aware of the things that you're talking about is actually, it requires somebody to really think about it, to be intentional.
Yes. We start thinking about it when there's fire. I always say Kenyan parents are firefighters.
Yeah.
I'll get into trouble with this one day, but we are firefighters. Unfortunately, we always show up when we want to put out a fire.
Yeah.
So we don't think about the consequences before. And I will give us just a simple example. At some point during your child's life, they will engage in pornographic content. They will. It's not a matter of when. It's not a matter of if.
Yeah,
it's a matter of when.
It doesn't depend on you saying,
exactly.
You're not going to, because
they will. So if you have that in mind, then you need to be able not to get shocked when you find them.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and I say this with love, that some children actually engage in it when they are really young, so they don't know how to comprehend it. And you trying to help them understand, okay, what you're watching is really not right. It's a difficult conversation to have, but all parents have to have it anyway. You can't delegate it.
And that's a conversation that parents should be having.
Yeah.
I mean, this was our last guest. We were talking about a conversation about sexuality, which Kenyan parents oftentimes avoid altogether.
Yeah.
So what happens when your 12-year-old daughter finds something they shouldn't be watching? And how do you, instead of just grab the thing out of her phone and punishing her, then, what do you actually do that's constructive?
So just a few things, like I always say once a week if you can, and I think you should, try and be interested in what your children are interested in this sense. If they're playing games, find out which games they're playing.
Yeah.
Whom they're playing with. Because yes, they will, when they're starting off, they play with people they do know.
Yeah.
But you'll find that you bring 2 friends I don't know.
Right.
So those are strangers to me. She brings more people in the game, and then sooner or later we become friends.
Yeah.
So first helping them understand what red flags in the gaming space look like, for them to be able to know that this person asked me questions that they shouldn't be asking.
Yeah.
And when they do, this is what I should do in return, right? So parents need to start equipping their children with that. Once in a week, watch a movie with your kids so that you actually get to see what they're watching, the quality and the content of what they're watching. Again, when you're doing that, put your phones away. There's something I call a phone basket, where I tell every home, even though you don't have a fancy basket, get a container in the kitchen, put your phones there. The reason is when you're watching with your kids, there are things that they'll flinch when they watch, and you will see it.
Yeah.
And then you'll realize, okay, that made them uncomfortable. Why did they react like that?
Yeah.
In the movie, they'll see something and they'll ask questions. Then at least that gives you an opportunity to have a conversation. Again, base it on your family values. And when you don't know, you don't know. Again, I also keep telling parents, you should not be the bearer of all knowledge. If you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
Like, can you allow me to just find out a little more about this?
Completely agree.
So-
one thing though, and I do, you said it. I don't want to gloss over it. When you have a device, whether you're 4 or 40,
Yeah.
this is you. It's you and the device.
Yep.
It is 1-to-1. And
Yeah.
there's an algorithm maybe and whatever it is that's looking at what you're looking at, and it's giving you more of the stuff that you like
Absolutely.
or don't like, or
Yes.
whatever it is you're consuming, more of it will be shoveled towards you.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen on television. So,
No, yeah.
So TVs, I mean, the sad part of it is TVs are not smart.
True. And I can't carry my TV to the toilet, unfortunately, as well.
No, you can't.
So,
And I do have to watch it with other
family.
people in the
Yes,
room.
exactly.
And I can have the opportunity to
Yeah.
either share the experience or to observe
Yeah.
my child's behavior.
Yeah.
And these are things that you can't
Yeah.
do unless you see them go like that while they're looking at their phone.
Yeah.
And then you should probably pay attention to that too.
And there's the paying attention, because you see, if everybody is also on their screens,
Yeah.
then nobody's paying attention to the other person.
Exactly.
Then now even worse is when everybody has earpods on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I've masked the noise. So you actually, if I'm watching something very inappropriate, you wouldn't tell, because
No,
this is me,
I'm
but
right
you can't
in.
hear.
I'm in there.
Then I'm banking on everybody else in the house being behind their screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know, interesting enough, you say whether you're 4 or 40, and just the conversation, especially the flinching, has reminded me. My grandmother has early onset dementia, and it's kind of progressing, but we noticed, and it can be something either that happened in her childhood or just something that happened to her, an experience, right? So when we're watching TV, and it's just, as you said, paying attention is if we put anything with even the slightest bit of violence, she just flinches. Like, she's not comfortable
It
with it.
triggers something.
It triggers something. And even now you notice that when it's time to go to bed, she doesn't want to go alone. Okay, generally she doesn't want to go sleep alone. But it becomes worse if she has
Yes.
watched something with any slight violence. It's like, always, have you closed the door? Go double check, da 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 da. And it's, whether you're 4 or 40. So you can imagine this is an old person who has lived their life, right? And this is their reaction to this. So more so, what about kids, right? These are their formative years. And so if you're not paying attention, then these are the times when we had a guest who was talking about scary movies, for example. They start getting nightmares, right? And if it's something that we are not keen on, then how will we know how to approach them, or even what to do when there is changed behavior? And if we can't model it in terms of, okay, let's talk about it, then it becomes, this is their new normal, I guess, in a sense of being, right?
Yeah.
And it becomes, for example, if it's violence, then I become so comfortable with violence because now
they're being desensitized actually with a lot of what they're seeing and also playing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any game that does not have violence that is fun. It has to be violent. It has to be.
Candy Crush.
Yeah.
I know.
Who's playing
really?
Candy Crush? Are we the ones
Yeah.
playing Candy Crush?
Yeah, it's you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I think, yes, there's that element. And I know I spoke about it sometime back in 2023, where I was just seeing that there's an urgency for parents to train their children on how to do conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Because for them, the first point is to fight. Because, that's what they do in gaming.
Yeah.
And they're gaming with their friends, so they're fighting their friends.
And
but
you
this
fight
is an
to
online
win.
battle.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they're having those conflicts outside in the playground, physical ones, physical gaming, they also just become, it's the same thing. So
it's true, they transfer that.
So if they have any slight conflict, they have to fight. So and it's progressive becoming, now that's why we are seeing a lot of bullying, a lot of shaming. Again, also parents are not really out of it because you go on our ex, and it's the same bad behavior. It's the same bad behavior. So we are not really handling issues properly.
Yeah.
So how then do we teach our children to handle issues the right way?
These conversations today are triggering me. They're triggering me.
Well, so the interesting thing is, and for our viewing audience, the majority of parents, I think, that are watching right now are Gen Z.
Yeah.
They're listening to what
millennials,
you're
yeah.
saying.
Yes,
They're
yeah.
listening to this and they're saying, okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
And where do I start? And,
Yeah.
I want to be thoughtful. I want to be intentional. How do I start? 'Cause
How do
this
I do
sounds
that?
like a whole kitchen full of ingredients that I have to start managing.
Yeah.
And really, I need three things that I can focus on.
First thing I always tell parents is just do a digital inventory of what is in your home. And and not just counting physical devices. Look at it in the sense that how many screens or how many technology devices does my child have access to? It could be, yes, the TV, their phones and whatever. Then look at the ecosystem. Your nanny is there, so their phone is accessible to theirs.
Yeah.
Grandma, grandpa, right? Because there's a whole ecosystem of people who are within their space.
Yeah.
And then if you can actually look at that, ask yourself then, have you communicated what your expectations are when your children are around?
Yeah.
And it will be those simple things. When we're in a family gathering, adult phones are not for children's eyes. It's as simple as that. Let them have their own devices that you have curated content for them, or you've put, like if you have Netflix and they have logged into Netflix, but they're using their account, which you have put their age, and you have locked adult accounts.
Yeah.
Those things are there.
People
So
forget to do that simple, very simple.
exactly.
Yeah, lock
And
the
will
adult
just,
account.
It will be just those simple things, but first do an inventory.
Yeah.
And then ask yourself, then if you feel overwhelmed when you look at that list, then what can you remove? What can you start reducing to bring it to a chunk that is really manageable by yourself?
Yeah.
Right? When you actually do that, then you start to ask yourself, am I really worried about the screen time, or am I worried about the content they're accessing? Because if they're watching inappropriate content, even 5 minutes is too much time.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
So I always tell parents, don't think about the time factor. Think about the content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So flip your mindset. After you've seen and you've tried to reduce, then have a conversation. Don't bundle rules in your house, because all your children are different.
Yeah.
They're also of different ages, and they like different things.
Yeah.
But create spaces where this child has certain privileges or this child has certain access as opposed to this younger one, and then make the family understand this is how it is. Then share your expectations, like voice them. Don't expect people to read your mind. Like, share your expectations. These are my expectations. When you wake up in the morning, like now they're on holiday, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing should not be your phone. Like, do your chores, brush your teeth, get off your PJs. Those small things. Do your
Make your
chores.
bed.
Yeah.
When you're engaging screen time, again, these are things I had to rethink during COVID, because I think COVID came to just mix us up like a salad.
Yeah.
When you're engaging screen time, engage it in a sense that you're looking at what is creative screen time. So am I having two-way conversation with my screen? I'm not just doom scrolling.
Yeah.
And let that be in the early parts of the day when your mind is fresh. Like, let me play chess, let me do some coding, something. I can be on Pinterest doing something that I can transfer that skill offline, right? And then make the YouTubes, the Netflixes, and the doom scrolling towards the end of the day. But also then put a cap on it. Like, we go to bed at 8, for instance.
Yeah.
Then screens should be off at 7 or 6.
Yeah.
So that you have that 1 hour of less blue screen time. So when you create, and those are small things, but of course, if you don't have them in your home, there'll be a lot of resistance. So for like a week or two, people will be,
Oh, yeah. Give me my phone, Dad.
yeah. But again, I always say, because you said, what can parents do? before you start doing these things for your family, you have to do them for
For
yourself.
yourself.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Why?
They
It has
model
to
your
be
behavior.
painful for you
Yeah.
Yeah.
to feel like, when you see your phone going off charge, you start having palpitations.
Yeah.
Imagine for your child, right? So you have to have empathy. You say, for example, today in this house, people will not be going to the toilets with their phones, so we are creating tech-free zones. Are you actually able to commit
Can you
to that?
leave your device on the kitchen table and head to the washroom?
It's
So it
actually
has to
not
be-
advisable to go to the washroom with your phone.
But we don't
probably
care.
shouldn't, but
We don't care.
yeah,
I mean, come
often.
on, who is going to judge you? Everybody is doing it. So
Don't drop your toilet. Don't drop
Your
your
phone in the toilet.
So I think for parents first, what they can do is, yes, you want to imagine this conducive environment in your home, then what are you able to do?
Yeah.
Because it has to be painful for you as
So
well.
wait a
does.
second.
Yeah.
What you're saying is it has to start with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
it starts with you. So number one starts with you.
It
Yes, it starts with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts with you. Then now I'm thinking around, and I keep telling parents to do simple things, and it's painful. I know. In the morning, when we say, I ask people, what is the first thing you do? I'm snoozing my alarm, right, from the phone. Then, okay, fine, I wake up and I really don't want to get out of bed, and there you are. What's up?
Scrolling.
You
Yeah.
know, you've already gotten into that space.
Can you define something? Because you said it a couple times and I know what it is.
Yes.
Doom scrolling
Doom
Yeah.
scrolling is just one way, and you're just flipping through your.
for hours
Yeah.
sometimes. And the time
Yes.
disappears.
It
Yeah.
does. It does. And actually, that's why the toilet counts, because you could be there for a very short. Ideally, you were supposed to be there for a very short time, and 1 hour later.
Yeah.
I really don't get the going to the toilet with your phone thing.
Well, my
honestly.
16-year-old enjoys it.
It feels
he-
so
I understand. I feel for you.
Yeah.
The tech-free zone. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got to get the kid out of the bathroom,
Yeah.
earlier than 1 hour.
absolutely.
So I tell parents, let's go back to things that used to work. Okay, maybe you might not relate, but Jessie will. Back when we used to have alarm clocks, actual alarm clocks. I have one.
Yeah.
I have 3, but only 2 work in my house. But it's okay, because when one flips out, everybody in the house will hear. And the reason for that, for me, as an adult, as a parent, is I realized 2 or 3 times when I did this experiment. Once I woke up and I was not on social media until I think 10. I really had a good day.
Oh, wow.
Like I had a fly
Yeah.
day. I didn't have stress.
Yeah.
But the day I said, let me now wake up, and the first thing I did was I went onto Twitter, X,
Anxiety.
and I was upset. I was upset that whole day. I was agitated. I was just like, why am I working this hard? As in I was
Yeah.
just,
Everything is wrong.
I was just upset. And I
Yeah.
realized somebody else set the tone for my day already.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I get to choose when that person sets the tone of my day. Have I been productive for a very significant part of my day? Then now I can decide, okay, fine. And I also told myself, then I need to decide which platforms to engage.
Yeah.
Because again, every platform has a vibe,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So when I felt that as an adult, I also started giving my children grace, because I was like, when they play Roblox, because I had to do this experiment in my house. When they play Roblox from 3 o'clock, first I have to monitor what they ate at lunch, because sugar spikes. And then 30 minutes in, everybody's mood has changed. People are so combative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then voice escalations,
Yeah.
So I had to also start telling them, okay, guys, and this is science, or this is my observation, we had to have a conversation. Then when can we start placing these games, right? I also need you guys to go out there, go be social.
Interact with
Get
the
a
world.
get a sunburn if you don't want to get vitamin D. Decide,
Yeah.
right? So we had, and it was not an easy conversation at all.
Yeah.
But we had to have that conversation. So I think parents also need to, again, be intentional, but being observant.
Yeah.
Because I think very many parents are also now saying, my child is ADHD. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
There is something around the screens that are making them hyper.
Yeah.
It's the studies, a really study around it, but it's the short form content.
Yeah.
Now it's with doom scrolling or whatever it is I'm interacting with a lot of short form content that I don't have a high attention span,
Yes.
because I'm like, okay, minutes in, on to the next. Let's move on to the next subject. Minutes in, let's move on to the next subject.
I think it's seconds in, not
Oh
minutes.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, not
actually, yeah.
minutes.
Seconds.
Actually, it's seconds
It's
in.
seconds in.
Yeah.
And Microsoft did a study, I mean, just to accentuate what you're talking about 15 years ago, Microsoft did a study when social media started to become something. Right now it's prevalent. But when it first started, it was causing panic because it reduced the attention span of humans who were interacting with it. And they did it in this Microsoft study, they measured a human on social media against a goldfish.
Wow.
Humans were shorter by 2 seconds.
To a goldfish?
Yeah, to a goldfish. 7 seconds was a human attention span on social media because you see stuff that's coming in, and this was before advertising became so prevalent. Like that's something we all jump past.
Yeah.
But how much time do you spend in front of a post? And that's where the doom scroll came from.
Yeah.
That it came from. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. And by the way, that has extended not just from our social media platforms, but platforms like Tinder, where we're choosing partners, where we're swiping right. Nope, she's not cute. Yeah, he's good. Yes. I mean, we're
barely reading the profile as well.
Yeah.
And then behind it, so here's the worst part. Behind it is the algorithm. Behind it is the intelligence that says, oh, she spent an extra 2 seconds with that. Let's see if we give her more.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're stuck in this thing
It's
that's
a loop.
just shoveling more of what you think you like.
Yeah.
And then the endorphins hit.
Interesting. I'm going to goldfish.
Yeah, I'll send you the link, Eveline. I think the study
And
was
I think this is worse now because I mean right now it should be less than 7.
Continually that was 15 years ago.
That's 15. Oh my goodness.
And this was at the same time, and I'll add, when people were saying, doesn't Google make you stupid?
All right.
Aren't we getting stupider because of Google? And it's like, no. Just because information's available through search doesn't mean you're dumb.
Okay.
It's your intelligence that helps you sift through that information and determine whether or not it's true.
Yeah.
And by the way, back to the AI conversation, it's the same thing. Is AI going to take over? Is it going to steal my job? Is it going to be smarter than me? And really, it's just what you feed
What you
it.
feed it.
It's a learning system. It learns from what it's taking in, and everyone is feeding it and
But I
what
think
it
for
finds.
different generations, that conversation is very diverse.
Yeah.
Because for us, is it going to take our jobs?
Right.
For you guys, it's making you, and not this is, by the way, with all respect, it's making you guys dumber.
It is.
Because
I agree with that,
you are
actually.
not thinking outside. You're not giving it intelligence to extrapolate for you content. You're just like, I need a report. Bam. And then you copy and paste.
Yeah.
Do my research.
For the work environment I've seen, that is a huge problem. So I'm imagining if my child doesn't want to understand how to calculate an algorithm or do algebra, they just want to put the mathematics on the search.
The equation and
give an
do it for
answer.
me.
But when a teacher asks them, how did you come up with this? They have no idea.
Chat told me.
Right.
Right? So I think there's a diversity around that. So we need to start also being a little bit more intelligent on first how we are using it.
Yeah.
And for us not to be so carried away and like, let it just do our work. So
I agree.
because misinformation will also thrive in that space.
Absolutely.
A lot of it will thrive. Yeah.
And we're talking about also modeling this behavior for our children. And I'm just thinking about it is if your children don't see you read, for example, and I believe reading is one of the best ways to get your child to concentrate and follow through from something end to end. Because I even find a lot of adults are like, oh, you're reading an actual book. Like you can finish it.
Yeah.
I don't have the attention for that. And sometimes we say these things and we seem like we are proud of it. And just like, okay, so if you don't, what do you expect of your child, right? And I'm not saying reading is the only thing, but it's good behavior
You need
because
patience,
it's, yes.
and you need patience to
and
read,
the attention. And then it teaches you retention.
And
That's why
imagination.
we are made to write book reports, for example, right? And imagination, right? But now everything is they'll remove a movie. I need it on audio.
There's an audiobook.
Yeah, there's an audio. I'll listen to the
book I was
audio.
reading, and they actually asked me, "Is this on audio?" I'm like, "I need you to get the actual book."
Yeah,
read it.
And
the
then
book.
because it's like, okay, can you give? I'm like, first I can't give you my book, no. But also you can't read a book I've read because I write on top. I will bookmark and I will do it. So you can't really read it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just train yourself.
Yeah.
I went somewhere the other day and we were in a waiting room. I removed a book and everybody was looking at me. because everyone was on their
She's a
phone.
freak. She reads.
I know.
Yeah, even me in matatus, people are like,
yeah, no.
you're reading.
Try and
Yeah.
just be off your phone for
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
It will improve your vocabulary. I was on TV the other day and people were asking me, Eveline, that English is too complicated. I'm like, what did I say? What did I say? Like, please, guys, read.
Yeah.
Like, you have some depth of information. You can have
Exactly.
quality conversations. But you're right. If your children don't see you reading,
Don't expect it of them.
yep.
No,
Right?
Yeah.
and people forget their brain is a muscle, and
You
if you
have to
don't
work it
use
up.
it,
Yes.
it atrophies.
Yes.
And guess what? An easy way to get it to atrophy is this.
Yes.
You know, as soon as you just start getting things shoveled in your face, and you don't have to think about it, your brain turns to mush.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have that vocabulary experience. You don't have the imaginative experience. You lose your ability, and you
Yeah.
do. I mean, just like if you were running every day and then you just decided, you know what, I'm gonna ride a bicycle every day. Are you gonna be able to run the same way 6
No,
months later?
definitely
not. No,
It's
no.
exactly the same. Your brain's a muscle.
So then, I guess what's the importance of TV in this day and age? And I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
things, and even in, I don't know if you guys have had this when someone is on Netflix and you see in the past TV, you go according to the program. Like even if you
Yeah.
wanna jump
it's
ahead,
linear. You
You-
don't have a choice.
Yes.
like, and if you don't like what's on TV, you stop
bad.
watching it, right?
Yeah.
Too
But
bad.
now is if we don't like what's on TV, and this is the thing that also our kids are interacting with, is if you don't like what's on TV, I'll just change.
You have options.
I have options. I'll go to what I like. You
We
know?
also have instant gratification, and we are a society that is building our expectation on instant gratification.
There's this concept that I had from a group of parents I was having a conversation with, and when we were just asking, so how much is too much, right? If I give them too much access, there is a risk. If I don't give them, there's also a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone said, I didn't grow up with these things. Now I can afford them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't I give my kids?
Yeah.
I'm like, we lived in an era where these things were not there.
Yeah.
And that's why we didn't have them.
Right.
Okay? Now we have them. That doesn't mean we just overly give our children.
Right.
And she had not thought about it that way. She was just like, no, if my child wants an iPhone, I'll get them an iPhone. I'm like, but why? At what? Why?
And you know the funny
Yeah.
thing, sad, funny, is in Silicon Valley, many of these founders who have children don't give their kids devices.
And they're
Yeah.
not on social media either.
They are not allowed
Yeah.
to be on social media. And these are the elite. These are very wealthy people who can
Yeah.
easily afford this. And
Yeah.
why do you think that they decide their kids
they know
can't be
something
there?
we don't,
They know
right?
something we don't.
My
There's a big deal.
Actually, yeah.
speaking from personal experience, right? You said that, and I remembered the story I was telling you guys earlier. And so when I was young, for the audience, my dad didn't allow us to have phones. I got my first phone when I was done with high school. So I was 17 going into 18, right? And I was so mad about it for the longest time. But you said that, and I've realized my dad worked in a tech company. He worked for a company called Dimension Data. And it's a tech company, cybersecurity, all those things. And for the longest, I was like, my friends have phones. I need a phone. And when I was insistent on it, even after, because he did a lot of, I guess, kind of like research on it, but also because he works with engineers and people in cybersecurity, he knew or understood the risk. It's just that I was very adamant on, I need it and I need it now. And I would look for all the excuses because my dad, you need to give him the why. And so if it doesn't make sense, he's like, okay, you go sit and think about it, So you come up with all kinds of excuses. And when I was like, finally, the most excuse that made sense is so that I can talk to my friends. My friends have phones. And unfortunately, he went and bought me a telephone, like an actual... And I was so mad.
I
I
hope you
was like,
kept it though. I hope you have
it's
it.
actually on top
Is it
of
a
my...
rotary phone?
Right? Yeah, you should actually keep it. You will win a conversation one day.
That's true.
With that.
Will I?
Yes.
I still hold
promise
some
you,
feelings
right?
around it.
No, you
Yeah.
will win a conversation with that one day. Believe
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Someone won't believe.
Yeah, and my friends are like, oh, so why don't you text? You always call in. I'm like, but I don't want to tell my friends. I don't have a phone.
Yeah.
I just have a telephone. And I remember one time we were going up country, and I'm like, I can't lose touch with my friends. So just to prove a point, you guys haven't bought me a smartphone. I carried the entire thing. All the way.
The long cord that went with us.
I will prove a point, right? Did you? I did. And I went with it. And my brother and sister were making so much. They were giving me so much grief about it. I'm like, oh, why are you carrying that whole thing? And for my parents, is it that important for you to keep in touch with people just like that, right? And so sometimes we look back and we're like, okay, I get why they did what they did.
See?
But
there was a point.
There was a point to it.
It was
but
not
then
to withhold from you.
Yeah.
it
was just
really
not the
wasn't.
time.
It wasn't the time, right?
Yeah.
And so in this age of, and especially as we've said, Gen Z parents, is we've grown up in instant, because I'm Gen Z, not I Gen Z mixed with millennial because of my upbringing a bit, but we've grown up in a generation where it's instant gratification. I mean, I'm glad because my first phone was an iPhone, so I don't feel like iPhones are a big deal, because when the option was I don't get an actual phone, I was like, okay, then buy me an iPod. Right. And so he remembered that conversation. And at that time, I think it was an iPhone 3 or 4 that had come out, and it kind of had the same similarities to the touchscreen iPod that was there. And he's like, so that you can get all that you wanted to get, let me get you this one thing, because I still value the conversation we had, and I could see where your heart is when you wanted that. So here it is when the time is right. Yeah. And I've taught you, as you're saying, teach them respect, teach them how to be responsible before you actually expose them to that. And now in the generation of today is, how do parents do that? You know, how do they delay that gratification and draw that line without feeling like, oh yeah, I'm the bad mom and I'm not the cool mom and the cool dad.
And rationalize the excuse, because there is a really good one, and I'm sure I'm gonna ask you.
With like video games, I know I had that challenge with my kids.
Yeah.
And I used to always tell them, I'm not saying no, I'm saying not now. Those are two totally different conversations.
Yeah.
Because I've not said you can't play. I've just said, can we have a conversation around time? I need to prepare myself financially. And when you give them those, you're having a conversation, you're just telling them how it is.
Yeah.
They get to understand, right? For me, I always tell parents, when your no is not a no, then say not now.
Yeah.
And then justify. Because again, Gen Zs are not your problem. Alphas are. The alpha will stay there and why until that why is satisfied.
Yeah.
So just learn how to communicate. And when you communicate with them in a way that also makes them feel heard, because they need you to know, they need to feel heard.
Yeah.
And they need you to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So I always say first seek to understand them to be understood. So part of parenting, one of the parenting things that we do is we play a game of bingo. So in this game of bingo, our generation bingo, is we have to go around in a room and find somebody who relates to maybe one of the questions.
Oh, yeah, I've played that game.
Yeah. And one of the questions we've put in that bingo card is, in my conversations, I say, back in the day. Right?
Yeah.
No, back in the day, like now we will say, back in the day, our TV used to start at 5.
Right.
Bold and the Beautiful used to be that cue that nobody has to tell you, Bold and the Beautiful, it's your time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Things were, and I when I tell my children, I tell them the president actually had screen time for us because it was screen time.
Yeah.
It is, right? We knew what parts of the day our entertainment has. Jamadelic, we used to have, we knew what time we are going out, what time our cartoons are coming, and time to go to sleep. So if in your conversations in 2025, you say, back in the day, remember, this is not back in the day anymore, because those things don't exist anymore. Right? So if your no is not an absolute no, I'm just like, I need you to understand, you're ambushing me with a PS. A PS is what, 60,000, 70,000 shillings?
Yeah.
Then it has to come with several games.
Right.
you can't play alone, so I need to buy an extra gaming console or whatever.
Console, yeah.
That will hit almost like 90, 100,000 bob. I don't have it now. So can we wait until I get that money? In that process, then I can have a conversation about the responsibility, my expectations, and all that kind of stuff. Then again, to parents, when you've handed them this, let's use the phone or the PS or the gaming consoles and stuff. When they do mistakes, like they, because kids will do
Make
things,
mistakes,
right?
Yeah.
Don't use technology as punishment.
Right.
People do that.
Yeah.
You failed in your math. I'm taking your phone. What does the phone have to do with
Yeah.
poor grades, right? It could have something to do with it, but don't make that technology feel like this is now a privilege and it's a punishment.
Yes.
Because they then what you're doing is you're making them start looking for alternatives. What are the alternatives? Remember I said when you're doing your inventory, your nanny is there. That playground where you're chasing them to go out, somebody has a phone.
Yeah.
In school, they will hear these conversations. Again, if your child is on social media, they have their username and their password in their head. All they need is a gadget.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So anybody who's willing to give them a data-enabled gadget, they will get onto the platform easily.
You mentioned before we started shooting a story about a friend who was bragging about the fact that she'd locked down the device.
Yeah, the device.
So this mom was posting like, kids these days, they're doing things that I don't even know how to punish this. So that was her topic. I don't know how to punish this.
Yeah.
And then she went on narrating how she has controlled her child's phone for 5 hours. So the screen time was 5 hours. And after 5 hours, the two apps that are left is WhatsApp and call.
Yep.
And then she came and found her child watching Netflix via WhatsApp. So there was screen sharing that was happening.
Yeah.
And the person who was on the other side, who probably doesn't have those restrictions, was sharing their screen and they were watching.
Let's watch together.
Let's share this experience.
So she was
this is actually,
bypassing all the controls.
all the protocols, yes. And, some of these things also happen when the children don't understand their why.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, in our bingo, we'll be like, do you actually make your children understand even your expectations, even your fears?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you will tell, I tell my children, we grew up knowing stranger danger.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Well, especially not online.
Now it doesn't, because by the time somebody is grooming your child, they have decided to spend adequate time with them.
Yeah.
They'll play with them games. They will understand what your child does, what they like, what they don't like, and then they capitalize on their
And they
vulnerability.
might even be pretending to be their age.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's not like, hey, there's a 4-year-old guy on the other side of
They
this.
don't know that.
No.
But even when somebody tells them to do something that is wrong, they will not say that is a stranger.
Yeah.
That person actually knows them intimately. They know where they go to school, where they live, things they love, things they don't like.
Yeah.
There's no stranger danger anymore. So you see, back in the day, I was not allowed to eat in people's homes or take sweets from strangers.
Yeah.
Right now,
I mean, you bring up a very good topic on stranger danger. And so this is now beyond the don't get into any strange van and don't take sweets from strangers and don't eat at kina nani na nani and don't go for sleepovers, right?
Yeah.
But now online, what does that look like? What does creating a sense of safety or teaching safety for kids, what do parents do when it comes to this is online? How do I know my child is being groomed? How do I, help them know the cues and the signs? Because someone won't be like, here, take a sweet online,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't
But
know
there's other
I'm being
forms of
groomed.
that, which is, hey, I'm going to give you a special sword in Roblox so that you can do really well.
Yeah.
There are different. They're the same tactics, but different
very
wrapping
sophisticated,
paper.
yes.
Yeah.
Actually, bad actors, I find like the bad actors of now have become extremely sophisticated. For instance, like now on a game like Roblox where a child has already started engaging with the Robux. So your account has started buying the currency. So you need real money to buy fake money so that your child can buy fictitious things online. I don't get it, but
it's awful.
Right?
Right.
So for them, if a child...
And is it on your card? Like I'd be so
yes.
curious.
Yes,
It's
yes.
on your card.
I for the last 3 years,
You've been
my
paying-
card has been debited $5 USD
Robux?
every month
Yeah.
for Robux.
Yeah, and what are they building?
So he plays a whole bunch of different games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're
And
buying...
sometimes with his friends and sometimes with his friends. Oh, I have a new friend. My friend said, I'm like, who's your friend? Toast. That's his name, Toast? Like,
Toast,
yes,
yeah.
his name is Toast.
Again,
Thank God.
because
they
you've
share
told
their
them
real
also
names.
not to use their real names online.
Yeah.
Again, security.
Yeah.
But then also when you're not telling them to use their real names, like there's Toast. So who's Toast?
Yeah.
Because I've never seen this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they know each other. They know each
He's
other.
my friend.
Yeah, he's so what has been happening is, if I'm a bad actor, and I've seen this happening with several cases that I've heard of, a child first will be given Robux worth, like 5,000 or something.
Bad actor is just on
Somebody who's malicious.
Roblox.
Yeah.
No, or just
Somebody's trying to
generally.
exploit
Generally,
you.
Okay.
they're just
Okay.
First, I'll give you so that you feel the benefits of having this. So you're grinding a lot. So grinding is a gaming. So they're grinding a lot. They're able to buy accessories. Okay, for the girls, like my daughter, she loves buying makeup stuff and she's building a house, so she's decorating. My son will be buying Ferraris and, spare parts and
Yeah, it depends
whatever.
on the games that you're in.
So when they have already been given, that's a sweet, right? I've given you Robux.
Yeah.
Now, the next time your Robux are finished, then I'll tell you, send me a naked photo of yourself. It will cost you this amount of Robux. You want, because where else do you get the Robux?
As a child?
Exactly. Now, alternatively, somebody will tell you, if you go to your parents' handbag or your dad's wallet and you get this card, then they are coached on how to actually give the credit card number, turn it, do this, and yes. Coaching.
Oh, yeah.
There is a lot of coaching.
I'm scared of being
This
a
one-
parent now.
And Toast might have been waiting for 6 months before he drops.
Is that-
Absolutely.
Go get that.
Yeah.
Card.
Yeah.
Because, you already dangled a carrot. I took it and I liked it.
Yeah.
So I have to keep, it's like a drug. It has to keep you there. I want more.
Yeah.
So you see, there are parents who really do not have that luxury of buying Robux for their kids.
Yeah.
There are those who don't even know what Roblox is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they have a Safaricom line, and the
Yeah.
Safaricom line has a
M-Pesa,
virtual,
or
it has a virtual card,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't it? That I can use M-Pesa to.
Yeah. M-Pesa
Yes.
has a virtual card.
Yep.
Yeah. And as long as you know
So
it,
it is a
they can
rabbit
access
hole.
all your parents' M-Pesa.
So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really is a rabbit hole. What I do tell parents, like, you don't really need to be a techie, but be interested in what your children are interested in.
Yeah.
If you're not, you've lost the plot.
Yeah.
If you can't create a conducive environment where your child was a little bubbly and now they're not bubbly, and all you can think of is teenage hormones
Yeah.
to justify their behavior.
Observant. That's what you said.
Yeah, you have to
earlier.
be. There's
Yeah.
a child who was
Observe.
cutting themselves, and they used to really dress nicely, and then they realized, okay, if I dress past, because they started cutting themselves until they realized they don't have real estate.
And- yeah.
So they kept until here. So they have to be on a hot day, they're in a fleece. And this is what they kept doing. So when you find a child is not hot, but they keep pulling, they're hiding something, because this is not normal behavior.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you have to be observant to realize, okay, there was a change here. Their behavior is like this. They're not really mentioning that girl or that boy they used to play. Again, it's intentionality. And where does those kind of conversations happen? When you're eating, eat together, put your phones down. Instead of asking Jesse, how was your day?
Yeah.
Because the normal thing is like, it was okay.
Fine.
If I ask you
was
what
good.
was the best part of your
Yeah.
day, you think about it.
Yeah.
Whom did you sit next?
Open-ended
Next to,
question.
yeah.
Exactly. By the way, you sat next to someone at lunch. When is their birthday? Because you also want to teach your children to learn how to make friends, right?
Yeah.
I got into an argument with someone. Instead of like, you should have done this, what did you actually do?
Yeah.
How did it make you feel?
Yeah.
So you realize in those spaces where you're talking to your kids, you're getting information.
Yeah.
And because we have wisdom and, life has just dealt with us the way it has, then you know how to support your child. I always tell parents, don't tell your child what to do. Support their process. Because your process is not the same. They don't think like you, but you want to build that resilient muscle so that they know, if my mom is not here, if in the absence of an adult, I'm able to do ABCD to protect myself. I'm able to engage my faculties to get myself out of this trouble. So yeah, small, it's
It is.
small
It
things.
really is.
There
small
is
things.
there is a piece of this that we don't consider very often. Privacy. And not understanding the value of privacy is, it's a difficult challenge. It can be a difficult challenge later on. And a lot of the businesses that create the things that cost us nothing, use the data
That we put out
that
there.
that represents us. So
yeah.
I think, do you want to talk a little bit about privacy and maintaining privacy?
From an adult perspective, I think we overshare so that people can feel that we are doing really well.
Yeah.
Right?
Validated.
We need validation. For children, they don't want to miss out because I think it's different.
Yeah.
But then in that space, when first we don't understand, again, what we have laws. What do our laws say about ABCD? I can post my own things, but I can't post on your behalf, get money around that. There are laws right now, and people are very ignorant around laws. Again, people don't learn from other people's mistakes. They want to get banned so that they know that the pot is hot. When it comes to privacy conversations, I always say that you should be the cop to your own privacy.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many, if I don't want you to know about my day, I won't tell you.
Yeah.
So let me leave you in that oblivion, right? Only post what you need to be out there.
Yeah.
If you're not very sure, pause. And in that pause moment, you'll be like, okay, if it's something really bad and my mother saw it or my grandmother saw it, how would it make them feel? Then again, it will give me a, right? So with privacy, I always tell first children, you're creating your own footprint. The advantage is everything of yours is out there. The disadvantage is somebody will use it against you one day.
Yeah.
That should give you a pause, right? With institutions that collect our data, once an institution has collected your data, do you go back and say, okay, I don't want to subscribe to this anymore? Then how do you delete my data? Again, because of the kind of laws we have, data collectors, data operators, there are laws that mandate you to know how to collect data, store data, and delete data, destroy data, right? So once you subscribe to Galitos, for instance, and you decide, okay, I don't want to eat Galitos anymore, do you actually go and tell them? Because they have your details, your home, everything. Do you go to tell them, now delete your data from the database, right?
People are very lazy about that.
Yeah.
Then let's look at this parent who has really created a fortress in their home. It's complete, it's a bubble. Then in school, they've not gone to the school and asked, okay, my child takes computer lessons here. I'm sure there's interaction with technology.
And
what
the
policies
internet.
have you put in place that will protect my child from ABCD?
Yeah.
Simple things like even, you mentioned play dates and sleepovers,
Yeah.
right? You know, the way a parent, I'm one of those parents who will even put a sticker on my child, no soy sauce in the food because she reacts to soy sauce. There are parents who go out of their way to, when a child is going for a play date or a birthday, I will tell you, don't give my child ABCD.
Yeah.
How often do you hear a parent saying, who is managing the phones around here? Who's managing the tech around here? That goes for intentionality, right?
Yeah.
Because you've just assumed, I'm going to Jesse's house and my child is going to meet 10 other children. My assumption is he will be there.
Yeah.
Then, but what is the environment like? What parameters have you set that will make the kids safe when they're in your home? Because this is your space. You need to be able to tell me, I'm coming here, I'm bringing my kids, they'll be doing ABCD. These are the adults who are here. Small things. But how often do we
Do that.
we do that?
It's true.
It's privacy, and also just making sure that children know when they're taking content, there are certain things that shouldn't be online, where we live, where we go to school.
Yeah.
So even when they're playing and somebody asks them for that critical data, it's a red flag. They already know, okay, I'm not supposed to.
I don't share.
So if I can't share, or if they're unsure, because like we use traffic lights for those young ones, so that if something feels completely off, it's a red. If I'm not very sure, it's an orange. And when it's an orange, ask, right? Just seek to understand why this person is asking me these things. Then if it's a green, it's a go. So give them those skills.
I agree. I think there's a part of this, and it goes back to, hey, I want to give something to my child. If you're not asking yourself why this app is free, how are they monetizing this? Because these are businesses, right?
Yeah.
They say if it's free, you're the product.
Yes.
If it's free, either you're the product, and that can be done through advertising. So I get to expose my person or myself to advertising.
Or data collection.
Or they're collecting my data and they're selling it.
So that they can also start giving you what now is relevant.
Because they need to make revenue.
Yeah. So I think, back to that intentionality, you got to pause for a second. Oh, this is a great free app. Here, kid, you're going to learn something. Great. There's a lot more to that story.
There is.
And I think, that's the part we have to also investigate.
Yeah. I think all these conversations and what you're saying is it kind of makes me think of this analogy that we're very keen on, like, let's say you have a newborn, we're keen on baby proof in the house. So this is the physical environment, and we're like, okay, this is a child, they can do this, the toddler can reach this
under the sink,
the
bleach is out of reach,
and the sockets but then we don't baby proof when it comes to
the internet
technology.
space, yes.
And so for parents who feel, let's say, overwhelmed with technology, then how would you advise them that
Are you going to
there's
remove
this?
the bleach from the house, or
Yeah.
are you going to lock the door to the bleach? I think that's the big question.
Yeah.
I think that's a great analogy.
Yeah,
I like that analogy actually as well. And I think with that, you want to find out if you're allowing certain spaces. For instance, a phone will come with its safeguards. Do you know them? So before you give that child, you get to understand, I'm buying this Samsung, it has the digital well-being. I can lock this, I can lock that, I can do this, right? You know for a fact, but by the time you're giving your child a smart device, it needs an email. So whose email is being put? If your child has a Google account, am I mirrored into that Google account, in the sense that, yes, they might be 13, but I still have guardianship to that account. It doesn't mean when they turn 13, you're just here, right? Can we have conversations around what you're downloading, when you're downloading, if you have to download? But if you have that control, every time your child downloads something, it pings you. It asks for permission, right? So parental control products are there, even in-app, which are free, most of them. But the thing is, are you going to have shock absorbers in the event that you're controlling this device, and then it's giving you feedback that you are not expecting?
Yeah.
Again, back into the point I said, your child they will interact with the age-inappropriate content.
They're going to figure it out.
So they were trying to go here and here and here, and it gives you that feedback. So how do you use that information?
How do you react to it? And maybe that's not what they were looking for. They were searching for something really different. Yeah.
Yes.
And be careful not to go up to them and go, you were trying to hit TikTok. I can see it. You're in trouble, because they'll find another way.
They will. Yeah. And so I think you need to strike a balance.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes this is hard for me to say, because also as your child grows, you need to give them some independence.
Yeah.
We were children once. I keep telling my kids, I did not wake up and I was 38. I mean, I went
That's
through
such a mother response. That's such a mom or parent response.
And fortunately for me, I lived in a military barracks. It's a cage. It's a fortress.
Yeah.
Insecurity was nothing. It's not something that I worried about for me, but I know for my parents as well. But I always tell them, I lied. I pushed boundaries. I did all these things you think you're doing. I did. So one of the things I want us to emphasize and cultivate is integrity. So you'll find that there are things that I want to cultivate in my kids, such that in my absence, it's their default.
Yeah.
It's their default. Like integrity, especially because you're doing the right thing, especially when nobody's seeing, right?
Yeah.
So those are the things that I always tell parents, keep cultivating. Sing them like a broken tune. And I think mothers, we are good at that. Just keep singing it. It's getting in. It is. So that the day they'll come and tell you, even when in their 20s, like, I know that phone, you will use it. I promise you. And then you'll say, back in the day, that will be your cue. That will be your cue. You will actually remember something, and you'll be like, you know what? I can actually use this example for this particular incident. Yeah? So be open and also be vulnerable. Again, I'm always vulnerable. I'll give you a backstory. Living in a military barracks, my mom was fierce. I used to fear my mom. Nowadays, I tell her this because we are friends. Back in the day, she used to like, I'm not your friend, I'm your mom, And there's this rule, when you come from school, you're not supposed to go to people's houses. But this one time, my nanny allowed me to go to someone's house, and I played and I was playing. And my friend locked the door. And the point where I was like, okay, the queue is here. I need to go home because it's time for parents to come home. When she was opening the door, the key broke inside. And I was like, I'm not being found in this house. I'll be killed. Do you know what I did? I was in the second floor of that building. I removed the levers and I jumped. I did. And this was what was on my mind. First, I'm not going to be caught here.
Yeah.
But this is the time of Lois and Clark. We were watching Lois and Clark.
Sure.
Do you remember what Lois and Clark used to do? Like, they would see somebody in a burning building and then just, he would rip off his shirt and fly.
Yeah.
I was hoping before
That you'd
gravity
fly?
called me, Clark would come and save me.
This is Looney Tunes
I'm
beyond
serious.
Lois and
And
Clark.
you're a kid and you're imagining this stuff. So, yeah.
And I say this because also what they're watching, there is this illusion of what they're watching and what it's telling their minds. I kid you not, even in the hospital when my mom was trying to, understand why I jumped off a building. I was like, first and foremost, I didn't want you to catch me here.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, where was Clark? And everybody, even the doctors kept asking, who is Clark?
Yeah.
I'm like, Superman. And they were so pissed because I was hurt, I was bleeding, and all these things. So just back to it, sometimes even parents, when they're not understanding the age we are in,
Yeah.
that's why an 11-year-old will screen share.
Yes.
Because you know the way I use WhatsApp is not how they're using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know until I think 2 weeks ago when somebody was trying to troubleshoot my machine, we could screen share on WhatsApp. I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't. Okay. I never had to use that feature.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let's get on Teams. Because again, it's convenient. But they were like, no. Do you have web WhatsApp? Yes, screen share. I'm like, I can do that. So imagine a child who has been told you can't do ABCD. They're like, but this screen share.
Yeah. You've not told me why. I don't understand it.
Is having issues with their child, and they keep saying, my child doesn't even post stuff. Maybe they have excluded you from their posts.
They've blocked you.
Absolutely,
WhatsApp has that feature. No,
Mm-hmm.
everybody can see your status
Except, yeah.
they've put mom, dad, and then they've forgotten. Oh, by the way, my mom's friends are also here. They didn't put their mom's friends. So somebody will screenshot and is like, where's your child talking like this? Where's your child saying this? When they check on their phone, they can't see. Like, oh yeah, you are blocked. It's because also maybe you're too strict. Maybe you don't listen. You don't seek to understand. You're too stiff. In fact, I call that stiff parenting. Like, loosen up a bit.
Yeah.
Also, try and understand why your child was lying. Because when they lie, there is a reason why they were lying. If you understand it, then you will get their concept. Then you can guide them through it. But often, it's when we don't want to come to their level.
Yeah.
When we don't want to come to their level, I know better, I know this, I'm going to do this. Again, we use this word, it's my house, it's because I said so.
Because I said, I'm the parent.
It's because I said so. I
saw the sun before you.
Yeah. You will find that playground that you're insisting they go play in. So many things you've said so. They go off the window. Yeah. So it's a matter of not even thinking of being tech. Because I think sometimes when we're having tech conversations, parents are like, but I'm not tech. You don't
I'm
need
not techie.
You
I'm
don't
not
need
tech
to.
forward.
You don't need to be.
You don't need to be.
But you do need to
But you
care.
need to try and understand. And if your child is on a specific platform that you're not, seek to but you can learn from them actually.
Yeah.
I never used to play Roblox, but now I know some games on Roblox. And when I think during the summer break, when my kids were on summer break, there's this guy who identified like 9 pedophiles on Roblox.
And
Then my kids were so upset because he's the one, his account was blocked. He's the one who ratted out pedophiles on platform. And his
account was blocked.
So my kids were like, what is this? So there was this uprising. But you see, when you're not in the space where your children are playing, then even you don't understand these things. Then growing up, we used to have, when Sheng came, because Sheng is the mixture of English and Swahili. When it came, we used to tell our parents, oh, now you don't get it. You're so old. Guess who's old now? When they're even using numbers. Like you can actually 6, 7. I don't know what that
I really need to Google that because I really don't know what that is.
I think ideally it was supposed to be what? Like basketball height something.
and then
it means nothing.
I don't know.
Then
Some kid online was just like
6,
7. And then that became a meme.
It became.
It literally means nothing.
It means nothing. I asked my daughter, I was like, so why are you using it? It's trendy. The other day I said LOL at a lunch table, and my kids were like, bro. First they called me bro. I was like, bro, that is such a 2022 meme. And I was like, okay. But why was I bringing that up? Now they have their own coded lingo.
Yeah.
You would be one of those parents who, I want your phone. Why are you smiling? We are talking. And you and then you actually go check the messages. You understand zilch. There's nothing. Like they have used emojis. We use emojis wrongly. Yeah, but they're using emojis. They're using coded language that we really don't know. So again, instead of you creating a space where I'm not understanding this, ask them, but what does this mean? And they'll tell you if the environment is conducive.
And they feel safe. Yeah, they feel safe to talk to you.
If they feel safe, yes.
I mean, this conversation can go on forever and forever and forever. And I think we should have a part 2 of this conversation. But I think at least we're having the conversations, right? At least we are having these conversations that are changing mindsets, hopefully, and opening our eyes to different ways that how we can do things different, right? So thank you so much, Eveline, for being here.
Absolutely. And as Eveline said, it starts with you.
Yeah.
Like the inventory is great, but also you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't just look at the devices and think, oh, this is what the kids get. It's also your behavior. And remember, they model you.
Yes.
So if you're going to spend your whole time doom scrolling on Instagram, then why would you expect them to do anything different?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get what you serve.
Yeah.
And actually, I think for me, my parting would be just cement your family values.
Yeah.
That will be your true north.
Yeah.
Like your kids need to know this is what we believe in. And as they grow, also help them to understand what they believe. Because of course, they'll have to come up with their own values. But the family values have to be the foundation of any relationship. Then of course, also teach them how to make friends, teach them how to maintain friends, and also how to lose friends.
IRL.
Yes.
That's in real life. For
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
See, you're doing. You're That's really
Make
awesome.
some real friends.
Yeah, make
Not-
some
not-
real
so
not
much
just-
for having
Don't
me.
just hang out.
Thank
with
you.
us.
This was really fun. We need to do a part 2.
We need to do a part 2,
absolutely.
definitely.
Like I
Lovely to
feel
have
like we
you.
just did.
Tip of the
I know.
iceberg.
Tip of the
Literally
iceberg.
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
There's so
yeah.
much more in this conversation, right? Yeah.
But as we go into the holiday, just remember adult phones are not for children's eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good one to remember.
Adult phones are not for children's eyes. Let them watch the big screen. Let them play. But
Or
unless
let them watch Akili TV.
let them watch Akili TV. And for the very young ones, I think there's something I learned from you guys some time back. Co-watch.
Yeah, co-viewing.
Yes, co-viewing is important.
Yeah.
Co-viewing
It is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch what they're watching.
Even though we say at Akili TV we're safe for family viewing,
It is.
you
Yeah.
need to confirm that. We're
Yeah.
saying it because
Yeah,
we're
watch-
in the company.
watch
We
with them.
I
have
need
the,
to
Maybe
say
you'll
that
like it.
because
Yeah.
I've watched it.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to say that.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
co-viewing is actually also really fun.
Yeah.
Because then I'm also learning things that I really didn't know. And there's a lot of local content.
Yeah.
There's a lot of global perspectives.
Yeah.
So Akili TV is definitely one of those that
Thank
you
you.
have to. Yes.
Thank you very
And
much.
co-view, you'll have fun.
Yeah.
Like make it your this week's family screening time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
Thank you.